What's up, guys?
Hey Jamal, how
Yeah,
are you?
How you doing,
been
brother? How you
forever,
doing?
bro.
I know. How's everything? I see you doing your movies and stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm
Shit,
trying.
man. Staying in shape, dude. What's up, man?
So what else? You're in Vegas still, right? You're
I'm
in
in
Vegas
Vegas.
right now.
Yeah, I'm still in
So are
Vegas,
you
bro.
you full time out there now or what?
Yeah, moved out here 4.5 years ago.
Fucking right,
Just
dude.
just training, man. That's
Just
it.
full blown going at it now, bro.
Yeah, that's all I do now. Yeah, I
Proud of you,
mean,
dude. Kicking some
thank you.
ass.
Thank you,
Kicking
brother.
some ass.
Thank you,
Well, I'm
man.
gonna go ahead. I'm gonna hit record and we'll get this
Yeah,
rolling.
come on, man. My bad if my dogs are right here, so my bad if I.
Mine is too. He
Yeah,
was
yeah. So
he was
look, so
barking in our last podcast. I
that's
don't know
what I'm
if you
trying.
heard him, James. Did you hear my dog barking in the last
I did.
podcast? Yeah. I'm like, dude, shut up, man. Shut
Well,
up.
I
Yeah,
wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. Yeah, I did, but I wasn't sure for a minute whose dog it was.
Yeah, it was mine. He's with
yeah.
me today. He normally goes to work with his mom, but
Oh
Uh,
yeah, this
yeah.
I took them to the
So,
park this morning, so they're going crazy now.
mhm. All right, well, let's just jump right into this, man. It's been forever since we've seen each other,
I know,
but
man. I know.
always kicking some ass. So we got Jamal Pogues on the podcast today. He
Yeah,
is a good friend of mine, I worked with him on Kingdom, so
yeah,
former actor, stunts, but he's also very high level UFC fighter going to the top right now.
yeah.
So Jamal, we are stoked. James and I are both stoked to have you on the BSC podcast, Blood,
Let's
Sweat,
do
and
it.
Cinema. So let's
Let's do
roll
it, man.
at it.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Oh,
I'm
awesome,
ready,
man.
man.
so
Well,
Jamal, let's start at the start. First of all, where are you from? Where did you grow up? How did you start fighting? Did you were your parents fighters, or were you just kind of the
Yeah,
renegade in the
yeah.
family?
You know it's funny. Like, so I was born in Los Angeles, California, South Central to be exact. I moved a lot, you know what I mean? A lot of times to SoCal. We moved to Dallas, Texas, and we moved back to like SoCal, LA. And then I think when I was like 11 or 12, we moved to Victorville, California, which is like a small city. Like a lot of people in California don't know this city, so moved there. I think I started training jujitsu's crazy story. It was this kid getting bullied. And then I like basically stopped the bully, and then the bully got scared. And then this dude came and choked me out, put me in a rear naked choke because he thought I was the bully. And then like next thing you know, they had to like stop and be like, no, he's helping him, like, whatever. And then I was like, yo, man, what's that? And then he was like, this is grappling. I was like, well, think about it, I'm from LA, so at that time I'm like, man, what the fuck? What the fuck is that? So like, and then they were like, oh, this is this. And I think I'm not gonna lie to you, I felt embarrassed. Like I did, hey guys, stop. I felt embarrassed that like, hey, I felt so embarrassed that like I couldn't do nothing. Like, I don't know, man. It was my ego. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it was my ego years ago. So then I literally joined his gym to beat him. And then I would say after like the first day, man, I just been in love with it ever since.
now was that Joe's gym that you joined?
No, no,
No. Okay.
I started a gym called Universal Grappling Academy. And
Okay.
then UGA, Universal Grappling Academy in Victorville, that was my very first gym. I was 13 years old. I tried, like, trust me, like I tried to, it was hard to convince my mom, but it was just like, I was like, yo, mom, I need something to do, blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't want me sitting at home playing video games and doing it, like it was just
Yeah.
like one of those
Keep you
things
out of
like,
trouble, man.
yeah, yeah, just keep me out of trouble. And then I think I was there until I was 17. And then it was a lot of gym politics, mind you, not like I had anything to do with it. I was like 17 when I left, but it was just like so much
Yeah.
stuff going around. And then I ended up joining Joe Daddy Stevenson's from a friend of mine named Nelson Alvarado. And then I think I stopped training for like 3 months. And then he called me. He was like, dude, you need to, kid, you're good. Come train, come do this. And I was like, no, I'm good. And, I'm young. So, I'm hot headed. I definitely had a bad temper when I was younger. So I was saying all crazy types of things. I was just like, no, I'm good. And then he came to my parent, well, he came, yeah, literally came to the front door, picked me up, was like, dude, you're training and I'm paying for it. And then
Nice.
my mom was like, you have to go. And from there, I met Joe Daddy Stevenson and everybody there. And I think just because I was getting my ass whooped there, I was like, again, it's an ego thing. And, it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, you guys can whoop my ass too. And then then it's just weird, man, because that's just from there, I learned so much from that man, and then from him, and then from the people that I was able to meet off of him, and then that branched on to so much stuff after that. So, I joined Cobra Kai, which is Joe Daddy Stevenson's gym in Victorville, former UFC, title challenger. That was my coach for 8 years. So I was like 25. So from 17 to 25, it was like I was under kind of his thing, and I lived with that man for almost like a year and a half. I was like 17, didn't have a place to stay, and then it was just I got to travel with that man everywhere. He sent me like everywhere we went, man, and he didn't. I don't know. It
Didn't
was
blink an
weird.
eye.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was never about money. It was none of that. It was just like,
That's
hey,
Joe. That's
yeah, come
Joe.
on, man. Like, you want to go? And it was just like, cool. And I was like, shit. And it was like, part of me was like, I'm still hanging out with some of my friends back home doing stupid shit. And then I was kind of like, hey, y'all, I can make some money. Like,
Yeah.
we could actually, like, so it's just, I think, I appreciate those times, because where I'm at now.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, we met on the show Kingdom. We met on
Yeah.
the set of Kingdom through Joe Daddy.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a wild time. I mean, that was some of the greatest experiences.
Craziest
I
times.
mean,
Craziest times.
what do you remember most about those days, man?
I wish I would have appreciated some of those moments more. And because it's like now obviously being in front of the camera more now, being you know, just being more in the light, of the camera and everything. And as such, it was like for me, again, when you're a kid from the hood and from the ghetto, you're just like, man, I'm just here to fake fight. And then it wasn't until like years later, like stuff like this, where like you're like, look, man, like I tell people like, hey man, like look at this guy, like I worked him on a TV show, and then people are like, you worked on a TV show? I was like, look, it's not what you guys think, but it just certain moments where it's like I could have took a little bit more advantage of those opportunities, and I think that's what I should have capitalized on a lot more things. And the biggest thing about Keenan was just the relationships that we met after that.
Oh, absolutely.
So you're like, I got to meet some incredible people, right? And then we got to work with some assholes at the same time. I'll be the one to say it. And then, but it was always like, it was interesting. And for me, what I say I take the most from it, what people will like, I'm not the same kid I was when I was 17, 18. Like when you probably remember I was like 19, 20. But
Yeah.
it was like, to me now, it was like I got to see a different part of life that I never seen growing up. So to me, I would say to have that opportunity, like if I had that opportunity now, I would definitely take advantage of it more. So it was just, I was so one track minded, and it was, you just it was like my whole goal was get out the hood and you become the best fighter in the world, and you just realize like you could have pulled back a little bit and just had a little bit more, just embrace
Been in the
things.
moment a little
Yeah,
bit.
be in the
Yeah.
moment just a
Yeah.
little bit more and just appreciate it. And again, I learned a lot, but then I realized I could have learned a lot more.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I mean, Jamal, you have such a high energy about you and an electric spark about you that I highly doubt that's going to be the last time that you're on a set.
I mean, I
So
appreciate it.
I would venture to say that when you're done, destroying
Yeah,
people in the cage, that's
I'm trying.
probably where you're going to end up
I
because
would
you
love
do
to.
have that spark, man.
I
And
love it. I
yeah,
love it because honestly, it sounds crazy. I would love to be in a scary movie film. I know it sounds crazy.
so you
I
can
just
do a scream, right? So you
I
can,
like I would love to be in a scary movie. That's like always been a dream of mine. Like I was like, if I can just get into The Conjuring or Annabelle, just let me be a caretaker or like the long guy. Like just let me be in a scary movie. I don't know. That's just my like
yeah,
goal.
man, that's phenomenal. No, I love it. No, but seriously, man, you just have so much energy. Your interviews and stuff now, when I see them, like
Yeah,
you just feel it come out, you're very
yeah.
comfortable in front of the camera. And I've always thought in my mind, it's the first time I've ever told you this, but I've always thought, oh, when he's done fighting, he'll probably jump back into that.
Oh man, I
You know?
appreciate it. I try to
Yeah.
be truthful. I don't know. I just try to be truthful and tell my truth. You know what I mean? Is
Well, I mean, that's what comes through the screen. You can feel that. I mean, and it's really freaking inspiring, to be honest. I mean, so let's kind of walk through that a little bit. I mean, your grit, your tenacity, you still have fun doing it, which I think is
yeah,
what makes the difference.
yeah,
Like, walk me through the beginning of where you were like, I am going to do this to make money, this is going to be my vehicle to get me
mm,
where I want to go in life. Walk
yeah.
me through that until the moment that we got on the Contender Series?
I
Walk me-
got it. You want the first time or the second time?
Well, you were the first time you won your fight still, correct?
Yeah,
And
first
then
one
the
we saw.
second time you
You
won
gotta-
your fight and you got the contract.
Yeah.
So let's walk through what it took to get there, and then let's talk about the first time, and then
Okay,
go
so
into the
the
second.
in so I would say the in between part that people don't get between the first contenders and second contender series, a lot of growth. It was a lot of personal growth as a young man at the time because I think I was 23 when I fought the first contender series, and then from 23 because I signed at 26, right? So from 23 to 26, I'm not like I was broken after not getting the contract. It broke me. It was and that's what a lot of people don't tell you as like an athlete was that was the best fight I ever had. Like
Yeah,
to that
yeah.
point, that was the best fight I ever had, and I pushed myself and I really emptied the tank, So for me to get all the praise I had and then not get the contract, it broke me, So
Yeah.
from that point on, I think no one will fight me after that point, right? And then so it took a while for that. Then I did end up getting a fight, and I was so burnt out, like just mentally, so I ended up losing. And then COVID happens. And then you're sitting in COVID and you're like, yeah, um,
What do I do?
what do I do, right?
Yeah.
So honestly, I got in the best shape I did during COVID because all I did was just train, and we trained out of the gyms, I mean, out of garages and everything. So, everybody had mats and things, but you would sit there, and for the first time in my life, I was like, "Yo, fighting is done," and I was so like, it broke me. Like it was not only just coming off the loss, and then COVID happened, and then you just like kind of put me in a depression, you'll say. And right after, I ended up getting a fight 9/11, 2021. And I fought LFA, like they just opened up. It was like in South Dakota. And then I got the fight, but I won, but it wasn't a good fight. It was just like, and from there, I just kind of asked, like, man, I don't know. I just didn't have the love for it. So from there, I'm not gonna lie to you, I started partying, then I just went just start drinking, you start hanging out with girls, you're blowing through the cash, all of the fight money now, like I just didn't care. And then responsibilities happen, right? I have to raise a 15-year-old boy now, my cousin's kid. And then he's the one telling me, like, you're my inspiration with fighting. When you gonna fight again? Mind you, I'm going around doing seminars and all this stuff. And I was doing a couple of jujitsu tournaments like for 2-3 grand. And it was just like, and he's just like, you gonna fight? And I was just like, nah, because I was honestly just bullshitting.
Yeah.
Then I moved to Vegas, and then just kind of things just changed there. I had to grow up. It was like I realized I was raising a kid, and I had to lead by example. And then I realized that I had a lot of problems that I had to deal with. So then I get back into training after 6 months of moving to Vegas.
Yeah.
Long story short, a manager from Iridium, he's like, dude, you're Jamal Pogues. And I was like, so? And he's like, you were like the top prospect, bro. Like, what happened? Like, no one's heard of you. And I was just like, life. And then basically I just kept training, and he was like, if I get you a UFC call, would you sign under us? And I was like, that's probably be the only thing that would motivate me. So next thing you know, I was supposed to have a fight, but it didn't get canceled, but they ended up putting me on Contender Series. And then so when I fought Contender Series, obviously so out of shape. And then they were like, hey Jamal, you gotta go up to heavyweight. And I was like, if you look at me, I don't think I'm I'm going down to
Yeah.
light heavyweight. And they were like, yeah, you gotta fight this undefeated Brazilian guy. And I was like, all right. And everybody looked at me like, what? Like you haven't fought in 2 years, and you're coming like you're off the couch for like 4 months, and you're gonna fight this undefeated like kickboxing. I was like, yeah. But to me, I think when I had that fight, I had so much built up in me. And so when people saw me have tears walking out, it was just like I didn't think like those 2 years were hard. Like I didn't think I'll ever come back to fighting. Like that, it was just weird. That was just one of the hardest things. And I think I had that fight, and I was just smiling in the middle of the fight, and people were like, "You're having too much fun," and I was just like, "Dude, I missed this. Like, I thought this was gone forever." So to me, when I got the contract, I think a lot of my like doubt went away, and I think that's when the love started to come back for the sport. It was just that moment he gave me the call.
Yeah.
That was it. He pulled me to UFC, and I was just like, from there, it's just from there, it was just learning. It was growing. It was finding a love for it again. It was hard, man. And I'm not gonna try to be like every other fighter and tell you it's not. No, it's you do this every day and you just keep getting hit with another wall, another obstacle, another wall, another obstacle. And it's like, they tell you if you be good and you do this will happen. And they're like, you pray, you try to pray, and then like you meet politics, and then you meet the business, and then people don't want to talk about. Then you meet the racism part of the sport, and then everything just breaks you down, and then it's just like for some reason, just I kept praying, and then next thing you know, like just how everything opened up for me, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I loved about it the most. But I loved it.
So you're in Vegas now. Are you
Mhm.
training at the Ultimate Fighting Center right
Yeah,
now?
so you got the big. So look, I'm gonna tell you how crazy it is. I got released in February. The whole world was
Okay.
crazy. The whole world was kind of like he's winning. So
Yeah.
it caught me by surprise, definitely. And then especially after they robbed me of the win, which of Saudi Arabia, and that kind of got like crazy buzz because the whole MMA world went crazy. And
Yeah.
you're sitting there and they're like, hey, we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you. We know you won the fight and you shouldn't have a loss in the UFC. And then you're like, yeah, so I'm good. Like you're thinking we're gonna resign. Like that's my loss and that it should have been mine. So, you get released. And then from there, these last 6 months is honestly, I have probably had the best 6 months or 8 months now since I've been released from UFC because I just had to find the love for it again. I
Yeah.
love I love being back in on the local scene, fighting the guys, the grind, it taught me a lot. So and the funny part is my last fight that I had in August here in Vegas, Sean Strickland was there, right? Former UFC champion. He's yelling at Mick Maynard like, you should have never cut him. What is wrong with you? And it was
That's
so
awesome.
and there was so much UFC guys that were there that are local in Vegas and they supported me and then they also had a few words with some of the matchmakers. So
So
and
Jamal, what constitutes you getting released from your contract in the UFC when you're winning?
you
Like,
know
is it
what?
is it a value thing? Is it
It's
a
value.
personal thing? Is it a business decision? Is it down to Dana White making the decision, or is there a board?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. It's part of my fault, and that's one of the biggest things I'll say. Between my fight that I had with Thomas Peterson and then I had of Saudi Arabia, I took a year off, and that year off, I had to refund the love. Right? It's weird when you're just fighting. So I think that the inactivity was a part of it, and then mind you, I don't have a big enough name as everyone else, right? But I had
But
to take
one
the
quick question: before you were released, how many wins did you have? Straight wins?
we had the Contender Series, the UFC, what, 2 or 3?
Two or three. So I mean, you're on the up,
Yeah,
and then you
because we
get
have a
released.
big. You have to realize we have a big gap, right? We have a big gap in 2 years, right? You get the second Contender Series, and you get the debut, you get the London fight, you get the back at the Apex, and then you get Saudi Arabia, right? So I came back with 4 or 5 fights. So and that was kind of but it's like the inactivity part, right? And another thing is the sport's changing, right? And they
When you say it's, sorry to interrupt you, but when you say it's changing, what do you mean by changing?
changing is, if you want to be honest with you, the sport is not the best fighting the best. You get what I'm saying? Is who's the most popular. You know what I mean? And
Who can make the most money off?
Who's
yeah,
gonna put butts in seats?
yeah,
That's
who's
what.
gonna put butts in seats? And then it's like, so to me, honestly, it sounds crazy. I got more famous being cut. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but it's like because the MMA what like outlets are so big, like Full Send and MMA Mania, like these million followers have like they were sharing it, and people just share. They don't care. Like they just
Yeah.
like what happened, and then they watch the fight, and then it was like I got more famous and more love. So for some reason me losing got me more famous, but like you said, it's putting asses to seats, and then honestly, everything goes back to me, right? I came back to the sport. I wasn't my best mentally, right? I wasn't my best physically, even though I was winning fights and they were entertaining, right? It wasn't my best self. So even though the world might say like I should have been there because I was winning, me personally was like, man, I wasn't giving my best effort, right? Because at the same time, I was growing, I was healing, I was trying to be a UFC fighter, and I'm trying to raise a kid into a man. And people forget like my mom had cancer at the time, so it was so much things coming in at once. And it's like, hey, man, we want you to do this. It's like, look, I'm barely hanging on, like I'm barely
Yeah.
hanging on. So to me, towards the end of me being released in the UFC, things start getting better. So that's why I was like, I was excited. That's why Saudi Arabia, I was so excited. I was like, man, let's go, let's go. And I put so much in it. And like even the fight was great. That's why there was so much energy into the fight. And that's
Yeah.
why everybody was like, man, like, and I was just so excited about that fight. And then, obviously they gave a split decision to him, and we are like, I landed more punches and strikes than he threw total.
Yeah.
And it was kind of hard to be like, he won the fight when I landed more strikes than he threw in total. So, but it's a lot of
Yeah, and
things.
it's like as a fighter, it's a difficult thing, right? I mean, because
Yeah.
you don't want to come off like, that more than whoever is watching. You don't want to come off like a sour sport at the same time. But when
Yeah.
you can see the actual perimeters of, how many strikes are being landed,
Yeah.
how much damage is being done, who has more ride time or ground time, how many
Yeah.
takedowns are things like that. When
Yeah.
you can actually see that,
Hmm.
but then the outcome doesn't line up. It's one of those things where it puts you as a fighter in a weird position. Because of
Yeah.
course you want to say, I won that fight. I know that I won the fight. Every freaking fighter thinks that. But then
Yeah.
at the same time, you also don't want to cross a line to look like
Like your
you're
asshole.
bitching
They
about it.
did.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So
Yeah.
to me, it was like, right after the interview, he even said on there that he didn't win. Right. He was like, they asked him, he was like, I didn't win. So that was
I
cool,
remember.
right? That was a cool part where it was like, all right, you know what, like I can deal with that. But then it was weird, man. It was like I was so proud of myself. I don't know, like because I think that part of me, I just didn't know if I could ever be in the UFC, if I was ever going to be good enough. There's not many people from my city, and
Yeah.
it's so many factors that go into from where I'm from, and it was just like I never knew. So to me, I got to answer a lot of questions. So to me,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
that was the say, so that motivated me, and that's why
Well,
I'm
it's you
working.
against you, right? I mean, it's
Yeah, and
more
I'm
so
working
you
harder.
against you.
I'm
You
working
know it
harder
here and
now.
here, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, like I know now, so I'm working even harder now to get back there. And would have finished my last fight, and just let you know, we have a fight hopefully coming up in December. If everything
Nice.
goes through, and so it's just like even talking back with some of the matchmakers again, and we're a few fights away, and we can, we'll be pulled back up, and but it's the exciting part because I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like this is if I right now. I feel like when I first met you guys on the show, I feel
Yeah.
like it's like that when I was an amateur again. Like I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
it's the hunger's
You're
back.
in the moment right now. You're
Yeah,
appreciating the moment right now, which
I'm.
is exactly what you said you wanted to do on Kingdom. You're in it right now. And you know
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
which, law of attraction wise, it's all going to come back to you. It's when you're not pressing so hard that things start happening.
yeah. And
That's
I'm
kind of
having
how it
fun
is.
now. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm getting myself to not be that fighter. But I mean now I am. But it's weird because people think that I love fighting less. I'm like I actually love it more
Yeah.
because I know how to detach myself from it. Meaning when I'm training, I'm the fighter, right? And then when I leave, I'm like, yeah, I just like hanging out with my dogs and reading my Kindle and
That's
yeah,
growth.
and I like
That's
read,
growth.
you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
understanding like and me like trading stocks in the stock market, like I like doing that. And then it's weird, but then when I fight, it's like a whole different person now. So I think to me, I like that I put myself in a position where I can give myself some mental rest. That's what a lot of fighters don't get no more. So it's just we always try to be tough 24/7, and I'm like I'm so tired of doing that. Like, I want to embrace a little bit softer side, like meaning man, I live in a nice neighborhood now. Like
Yeah.
it's like I don't have to, I don't have to really worry as much as like I had to before. So just trying to relax. But it made me more hungrier because it's like
Yeah.
I have something to fight for now. I
That's
have
great.
I have more responsibilities now. I have like more eyes on me.
Yeah.
And now being in some of the leadership roles that I didn't ask for, but life kind of gave me, it kind
Grows. Yeah.
of, yeah, it makes you grow up. And then so I just think overall this put so much on top of me, and I just can't wait till it all pays off. That's really what it comes to.
Well, you're in the midst of it, man. Let me
Yeah.
ask you this though. I mean, because I remember the second time that you did the Contender Series, I was watching. It was very emotional. It was awesome to see. I mean, I felt it like crazy. walk me through that, because when they pulled you back there and, they're talking to you and you're waiting to find out if you got that contract or not. I mean, that shit was awesome, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I can imagine living it was 1,000 times more awesome.
You know what? I'm gonna mess you up. The first time I was like, yeah, I got this, it's about to happen. Oh, and it was like, no. And the second time I didn't care because I was just proud of myself to come back after 2 years and put on the fight that I did. So it was the fact that could I still do it? And then I found out like, hey, I still got it. Like,
Yeah.
and I was, and so when I was sitting in the back, I was like, look, man, and I was talking to myself, and I'm not trying to push religion on people, but for me, I'm very, spiritual. And I was talking to God, and I was like, hey, whatever happens today, I just thank you for, allowing me to, live my dream once more, and then I was just sitting there and I was like, they're gonna probably do what they did last time, right? That's what I'm thinking in my head. So I've already said it. And when they said like, yeah, we're gonna pull you to the UFC, oh my gosh, everything came out. When I like, so all that macho tough, like, oh, it was like I was sitting there, I was like, yes, all right, whatever happened. I got it. Ah! And it was like it was just coming out, and from that moment you just think about everything you went through, right? You think
Yeah.
about all the trainings, the losses, the wins, those hours you put in, and the times you doubted yourself. You should have did this, and it's one of those great moments that I feel like everyone should achieve for themselves in the sense of whatever you are shooting for. I would
Yeah.
say, so that was to me one of the coolest moments of my whole life, man. It was because I couldn't believe like I'm the UFC fighter, like I'm the guy now, like I'm shit, like that's me, like
Not many people put everything they've got into something. They don't go for broke on everything. You went for broke on everything. Everything relied on you. You were in
yeah,
control. So when it was time and you knew you deserved it, that's what happens, man. But most
yeah.
people will never experience that because they're not willing to put
Mm.
everything inside of themselves into side of something, you know?
Because you have to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the journey that what I mean by appreciating is allowing myself to be vulnerable to a lot of things. So meaning I can see more things, right? And I can learn more. And for me, I was like you said, no one wants to put themselves out there because when you put yourself out there, the whole world is going to judge you. You know what I mean? And not only that, you're going to be your own worst enemy. So me, I'm definitely my own worst enemy. I don't think anyone can beat me more down than I've done to myself. But it's when you start realizing that you have to fight that inner demon. Like I just feel like, hey man, like I'm gonna beat you, man. I'm gonna win. So you have to keep going. You have to get. But those vulnerable moments is what makes you. But it's scary, and that's what people don't tell you is those moments are so scary. But you need something like that. And I never understood that till I got older. Like now being well, I'm at now at 29, I'm like, yo, if none of those things happened to me when I was younger, that scared me, and like, and if I didn't meet those certain people, if I didn't hear like certain people say certain things to me that wasn't nice, it was like I wouldn't be who I am today. So you need those hard moments, man. And to me, it made me a beast, man. But it's like, but at the same time, I'm still like humbled and I'm still happy and I'm like more like I'm actually getting softer as I'm getting older. But it's made me a meaner fighter. It's weird, but definitely be vulnerable. Chase the dream. Chase the adrenaline. Like chase the doubt, the naysayers, like that thing that's telling you no. And I deal with that. But it's
Yeah.
just I don't know. I just made him my friend. I'm like, look, man, you're not going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. So like what's up?
Let's do this together. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
let's do this together. But
Oh,
it's
as
hard.
Costamato used to say, you make fear your friend, otherwise it'll destroy everything all around you. So you made fear your friend.
You know what? You said it the best. I destroyed everything around me. And that's the honest truth, and that's why I'm a little bit more humble. I destroyed everything, the partying, the drinking, everything that wasn't fight worthy, and I was going down the bad paths. I was becoming meaner, and I was like, so I destroyed everything around me until I started dealing with the problem. And then when I started dealing with the problem, then it realized it was life got easier, but it was hard, man. It was hard.
So you started training with Joe. I mean, that's where really you got
Mhm.
going, right? And I could never say anything bad about Joe. He's one of the greatest human beings on this planet. You know that. I know that. James now knows that because we just had a conversation with
Mhm.
Joe as well. But you're doing the UFC thing, you're out in Vegas now. So who are you training with now? Joe being your mentor back in the past, everything evolves, right? I mean,
Mhm.
that's life, right? So
Yeah.
who are you training with now? Who's mentoring you,
Yeah.
things like that.
You know what I love right now where I'm at? It's called Njokulani's Muay Thai. So you have Anthony Njokulani. He was back in UFC, WEC days, good Muay Thai guy. Also, his brothers in the UFC, Chitty. He's at welterweight. He's like 6'4", 170, like really good stand-up guys. And when I moved to Vegas, I needed really to get better at my stand-up, right? Being with Joe Daddy, wrestling, grappling heavy, which I appreciate because I realize a lot of guys can't wrestle and grapple. It was like, now training with them guys and just my stand up just starting to get to a different level, right? Because when you're sparring with high level guys, it's like you have to, you start getting creative, and you got to start learning. And that's just kind of where it is right now. You got a lot of fighters in there and you got a lot of hungry guys. And I think that's what I love, from the amateurs to now you got some lazy people, of course, but you have the amateurs and then you got the lower level pros. You got the guys that are in that transition that go between, to the UFC. I was in the UFC, obviously I'm back in that transition, but I think you just got a lot of guys who are motivated and just want to work. And it kind of reminded me of those early days of Cobra Kai, so like that's where I'm kind of at right now. And just, a lot of my wrestling grappling is done. Like, my management team has a gym, so we just, ran out of time and we're using mats and, that's more fighter, fighter oriented. So a lot of good grapplers, wrestlers, yeah, a lot of fighters just come together and we just, just put in a lot of work. But for the MMA and stand-up part, the Njokulani's Muay Thai here in Vegas. I think some of the best stand-up here in Vegas. And man, if people can watch this, my last fight, and then they watch this fight that's going to happen, is my game is like my stand-up is getting good as my jiu-jitsu. So that's what I'm loving.
Nice. Yeah, you guys had Sean Strickland come in there a couple times, didn't you? I thought I
Yeah.
saw some footage with that. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
Sean
dope.
Strickland. Everybody's cool, man. And that's the thing. Like I've been knowing Sean Strickland so much from SoCal and being in the fight scene. So a lot of the guys who from SoCal that we know they moved to Vegas. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like we're just like a reunion for us. Like we've seen each other. Either I was amateur, they were pro, or I was a beginner pro, and they were, in the UFC. It's just we all cross paths. So a lot of SoCal guys are here in Vegas. So it's kind of feel like home.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good.
Hmm.
So when you're prepping for a fight, what exactly is your prep? Take us from when you know you have a fight and it's in 2 months, let's say.
Uh,
Well, how do you structure and your trainers and mentors structure your prep plan?
all right. So a lot of it from us, and my standpoint would be we start from my mistakes, right? So we probably take, let's say we do a 10-week camp, right? We'll probably take the first 4 weeks to only either deal with like inefficiencies, either strength and conditioning. So man, even my coach says, hey, I need you to be stronger in this, stronger in that. We need to build this muscle, make you more fast twitch. That's what we do for the first couple of 4 weeks. Also, we start to look at my last fight, right? You gave, maybe it was a position thing, maybe it was whatever we can think on the technical part of it, right? We just start drilling that. We take away the sparring, but we push the intensity of the conditioning part, right? Or the technical part, right? Drilling, drilling, drilling. So we kind of take that load off. It sounds crazy. After we do that, we do a test run in sparring, right? So we do like, hey, 1 week. So the fifth week, let's hit the sparring days, see what we need to work on. And then remember, that's week 5, right? We still have what at that point, we still got 5 more weeks, right? So then we take that next week, we train, like we do another technical week. These are the few mistakes that you made, like you made less mistakes, but these are the key things we need you to fix. And then we take those last 3, 4 weeks and we just finally put it to the test. And I think it's more smart now, right? It's not like when I was an amateur, you just balls to the wall and that's how you fight. I think we took a more technical approach because now being at this part of my game and eyes are on me now. We have to get better. We have to clean up the holes. We have to clean up the mistakes. We have to plug everything because everyone is watching and everybody are going to take advantage of it. And I think me being in the UFC, it showed me something different. And it was right after I fought was when I fought Thomas Peterson. He kind of told me, he was like, he literally broke down my whole game to me. Well, not like, but he was like, yeah, we know you do this and this and that, and then this happens. And I was like, people are watching me? What? I'm a nobody in the UFC, and then even winning a fight. But, we take a more technical analysis part, but we pull the drilling in, it's more drilling and more drilling, not so much sparring. I'll say 70% drilling, 30% sparring.
Now, let me
And
ask
we,
you this about your strength and conditioning. Do you still follow a pretty solid strength and conditioning routine?
yeah,
And
so
is that when do you lift compared to when are you doing aerobic capacity? Are you doing in the same time? Like, break
yeah,
break
so
that down for us.
okay, so it depends, off season or in season, right? So off season, we'll hit still conditioning no matter what, right? And then and I have like a former old lineman for the NFL, so he loves crazy ass workouts and lifting heavy and burning yourself out. And to me, that's kind of how I'm used to training, right? So we have and literally split, right? Upper body, lower body, we're burning everything. See you in a couple of days. And as it's kind of he gives me that old school kind of feeling. That's how we work. And so then on the aerobic part, we change a lot of things up. Now I change it up because I play a lot of pickleball. So I play a lot of pickleball in the off season. So then we're like, and they made it make sense to me. They're like, dude, you're trying to like I will bike. You're trying to bike, do this, and you're trying to play pickleball. You're putting all this pressure on here. Then by the time we start camp, you're burnt out. And then they were like, well, how many times you're playing pickleball? And I was like, I don't know, like 2, 3 times a week, or like let's say twice a week. And they're like, how many hours? I was like, shit, hour and a half, like, and like because I just always so they're like, how about you just take away this and just do that? Like, let's just make that
Yeah.
like like more of like that. And to me, I think it's a little bit more fun because now I've been running on the treadmill like my whole life. Like, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
so now it's like, you change it up. So now it's just making it a little bit more fun as I'm getting a little bit, like, as I'm getting older, like I've done those 9, 10 mile runs every single day. And it's like, hey, look, I'm getting tired of it. Like it is, how do I keep the cardio and endurance? And then, a lot of my strength and conditioning is endurance based, right? And exhausting the muscles and keeping it. So that keeps me honest right there. And a lot of the drills I do, and that's why like even my last fight, just being rock solid and being in good stance, and even my next fight, they'll say is just where you practice good position, good position, and then holding a good position. Don't break posture, don't break stance, don't get lazy and get out like that's really what like even when it comes to the grappling and the jiu-jitsu part and the wrestling, you stay in good stance and good position. So that's what I do the whole time. And I don't think people realize like my game's not hard. I just do the basics. And that's why I think I became better as a fighter, even though like I'm this late in my career, after what 26, 27 fights, is like because I just went back to drilling the basics. And now it's like I'm I don't know, that's just what I do. That's the whole time.
And marrying that Muay Thai with the wrestling and jiu-jitsu background that you already had, that's a good marriage right there. Have you ever considered maybe going and doing like a 6 week camp over in like Thailand or something? You ever thought
Yeah,
about doing that?
yeah, we are. We're gonna make a trip happen soon. It's
Yeah.
just like,
You go
you
over to
know,
Tiger and do a Muay Thai camp. That'd
yeah,
be
I would love to.
legit.
It's always been a goal of mine, right? Like always wanted to
Yeah.
go there. And then so right now is but listen, I'm gonna tell you why I love my gym is these guys we realized that there was a lot of correlation between Muay Thai and then like jiu-jitsu, and meaning the same time they hold the clinch will be the kind of the same way I will hold a guy on the ground. And we
Right,
start
right.
so it's cool because me coming from my jujitsu background, then coming from their years of, we kind of found a way how we can kind of help each other. Like, hey, I can make you a little bit better in the clinch, and then, dang, okay, well, we can compare it to each other. So I think that's what I love right now. It's just so much growth, and right now I think it's a lot of learning right now, and I'm having fun and it's dissecting each other's mind and challenging each other. So to me, it's like
Muay Thai's fun, man.
yeah, and that's not my, and the thing is, it's not my first martial art. So to
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
that's the part that makes it fun again because it gets boring, right? So,
yeah. It's
it's
redundant. It's very
yes,
redundant.
it's redundant, right? I can just go, I've been doing jujitsu so long, I can like grapple for the rest of my life. Like I don't think that's something that was like ever go away from me. So
You can do it in your sleep.
yeah, I can do it in my sleep. So to me, it's where as a being a person in sport, you just got to keep it fun, keep challenging yourself, keep bettering yourself, and keep making new challenges. But I want to go to Thailand. That's really but I want to work on my Muay Thai here with these guys, and then I want to go out there because I want to make sure.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
yeah,
if you go do that, you gotta film it. I mean,
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. We're
because
gonna make
that will
sure.
be phenomenal, man. I mean, they are savages. It's
Yeah, I can't
awesome to
wait.
watch,
I
man.
can't wait.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make sure I'm ready though. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
oh, of
yeah,
course, yeah. I
like,
mean,
I want to make
and
sure, like,
the level
I,
of conditioning that you have to have, not conditioning anaerobically,
yeah,
conditioning as far as taking some leg kicks. I mean, dude, I took a leg kick the other day from like a dude that's like 250, throwing it maybe 40%. And
yeah,
I've been hobbling the last 3 days, dude. Like
yeah.
that's
It's
that's how
different.
it if it hits you in a certain spot,
Man, when you leave a
yeah.
fight and people don't realize like you leave the fight and you're sleeping at the end of the night and you can't sleep because you can't move your leg and they say elevate it. No, you can't elevate it because nothing it hurts. Like, yeah, it's that's why I want to make sure I'm ready, man. It's
Well,
just
walk me through that. Walk me through your recovery. I mean, because everybody's got we were just having a chat with somebody previously that was high level Taekwondo, did a lot of US Olympic Taekwondo. He was super dedicated to his recovery.
mhm.
How was the recovery? Because I mean, you being a UFC fighter, I mean, I'm gonna imagine your recovery is
Mhm.
a pretty big part of your game, no?
Yeah, I didn't believe, when you're young, you're like, oh, I don't want to do it. But as you get older, you realize that you have to, and it's just because of like little things, right? But the recovery has to be the most biggest part. So to me, um, it's what you eat. And that's one of the biggest things I didn't realize in recovery. Because what a lot of people do is right after they eat, what they do? They eat a burger, they eat something
Yeah.
greasy. So then that like takes your recovery process even slower. So that's the number one thing is that's one thing I didn't do in the beginning of my career was watch my eating, and that's what I'm doing now. But
Well, because
um
when you're dehydrating, because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Jamal, you're probably losing anywhere between 15 and 20 pounds for a
you,
weigh-in.
well, for me personally, now since I went to heavyweight, I love where I'm at. Because
Yeah, because you
now
don't have
like
to
yeah,
mess with it
yeah,
now.
I just I wake up. But no, like you said, most of these guys are cutting, 15 to 20 pounds that week, and
And
then
that's not tissue.
normal.
That's water.
That's
That
water,
is liquid. And most of that is also coming from your brain. So
brain
if
and
you eat like shit right after you just weigh in,
yeah.
you're just diminishing you being able to get back to normal capacity like crazy.
You don't realize, like I tell people, eat the same thing you've been eating to cut the weight, but do it double, right? Because
Yeah.
you want to make sure your body doesn't mess up or anything. You don't want to change up. Like if you've been eating turkey the whole camp, like don't go get ribs. Like don't go get a
Yeah.
burger. Like dude, just stick with turkey. Like, and it sounds crazy, but that's really what it is, right? But then even after the fight, the first thing you want to do is eat bad, and it's like, dude, your body got to recover from that damage. And then what do? We drink. We
Yeah.
we 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 go eat something bad, and it's like, dude, you're slowing the process down even more, and it's like your body's actually in critical position, right? Like it's very like and then like we don't even rest. So that's one thing people don't realize. Like in fighting, people don't really rest and recover. So I think that's what made it a little bit different for me and a lot of fighters is I will take that time off. I have no ego. I know
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
guys are like, I have to get back that next week. Oh
Yeah.
no, 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 no. Like I'm out, I'm having fun, I'm walking the dogs at the park, I'm going to a movie, I'm hitting like you said, I'm hitting those PT sessions,
Yeah.
I might have two in a day, I might have I don't know, I might have five in a week, so and it's like you hit those PT sessions and again, stretch at home, guys. Like again, I'm the guy who didn't want to do it, but you start to realize like, hey man, do those stretches at home, even if it's like 5 to 10 minutes, and take that time to do those extra stretches and it's so much, but I'll take that time. If it takes me 2 weeks to recover or 3 weeks after a fight, I take that time away because it's like when you come back, you're going to be mentally fresh. Your body's going to be good, and plus, when you come back after 2 3 weeks after a fight, you can't train how you did when you how you entered the fight camp. It's like you might go in there and do 1 hour, and your whole body is tired and didn't want to. So, and I think that's what people have to understand is just work with your body. You know what I mean? Listen to your body. And one thing, a lot of fighters are malnutrition. They don't eat a lot. So I'm gonna just tell you this now. A lot of fighters don't eat a lot. And I think that's one of the things why I went to heavyweight. And Man, I was cutting so much weight to 205. So it goes with the eating. And I would tell anybody the first recovery is just the eating part. Change your eating, change what you put in your body, and it'll help you guys recover like a lot faster. You'll feel better, but it's the eating. That's one of the
Yeah,
biggest things that I feel like I failed in my career. I will attest to that. But being in this second half of my career, that is what I'm changing.
gotcha. How often do you keep in contact with Joe Daddy still?
No, we'll talk once in a while. You know what I mean? Like, he has his things. His boys are wrestling and going to
Yeah.
college, and the UFC's taking me other places and fighting. And obviously now, like, I got more responsibilities now. But and I still keep in contact with my old boxing coach and guys back home. It's like once in a while we'll tap in with each other and talk, and then we're just. We just got our own separate lives. It's not like nothing bad. You know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah,
just not nothing bad. It's just
of course.
I think right now in life, just life is taking us in different directions. I feel like life, bring you together. There's no hard feelings. It's just, you boom,
People
Joe's,
go off on different trajectories. That's just
yeah,
it is.
so
Honor and
Joe's
respect
Joe's
is still
Joe
there.
Joe's in more dad mode, and I'm more in the, hey, I got to finish my career, my fighting career. So it's just, more like that. And that's part of the reasons why, like me moving to Vegas, you know what I mean? Is understanding like, hey man, I'm still trying to be the fighter and you're kind of moving away from fighting, right? And it's no hard feelings. I can't get mad at people for choosing what to do with their life, but it's just kind of how, we separated, but it's no bad blood, it's just life. Mm.
Now, I was going to ask this, Jamal. I don't know if it's a subject that you can
Go ahead.
touch base on that much or not, but I do know that the pay structure with the UFC is very skewed.
Hmm.
You have the top 1% and then everybody else, right?
Hmm.
Is that something that you feel a union would fix, or are you against that? Or what are your thoughts on that? Because I've talked to several fighters about it before, and it seems to be swayed one way or the other. There's not really an in between for most of them.
Yeah, no, I would say I feel like the beginner contract should be a little bit more, right? At least minimum 50K. That's what my honest, 25, 25. I think that should be the base pay because even though when you break down taxes and then you break down paying out managers, these guys getting a 50K check, they're gonna end up going home with what
15
maybe.
grand.
No, not no. I hope that manager don't take that
Yeah.
much. But I would say, if you roughly, you're probably going home with like 32, 33, right? And if you split that down, that's maybe, if you're smart, 4 months, 5 months expense. You know what I mean? Like if you live
Yeah.
very subtle. So to me, I think it should be a little bit more. But the biggest thing is a lot of the fighters, like, just teaching financial literacy. Because and I think that's one of the biggest things for athletes, but I think the pay should be more because if you think about it, you're in the UFC. You're supposed to be the top of the top. There's only 500 people that have this job in the world. I
Yeah.
think you should get paid a little bit more, right? Because like for me in a sense, obviously if I had bigger sponsors and all that stuff, I would have been here a lot sooner. I could have focused more. But it's okay. But I'm gonna tell you why not. Because you're gonna hear this here. Once you get to the UFC, people get lazy as hell.
Really.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's the fame, but
Are
it's
you talking about, like you're talking about everybody works hard, hard, but once they get to the UFC before they win even a fight, the mentality changes?
it starts changing after a while.
Is it laziness or arrogance?
It's both. It's in the middle of between. It's in the middle of between. It's because you get the so a lot of people, I'm gonna say they never had, let's say, fame. Fame gets to their head. Girls start to like them. You see all the fighters, all this stuff. They're getting more money now. They get their confidence changes, their priorities change, right? So you start to see where that kind of sways people to a different direction. You see people who they work so hard to get here, and mentally they're exhausted. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just life, right? It's like people go through so much, they get there mentally, they're just exhausted. And then you get guys in there, they're just like, if I win a couple fights and bullshit a couple other ones, and I'll be okay. I can make my bread. Eat. And it's crazy when you listen to certain conversations I have on a daily basis with some of these guys. So, and that's why I feel like it shouldn't be an equal pay, right? Because it's like I know I'm busting my ass every single day. And I know it's people who getting paid more than me when I was in the UFC. And I know I was whooping their ass and I know I work harder than them. But I think in time, everything will expose themselves, right? In that sense. But I feel like the base pay should just be a little bit more so they can help people just have a little bit more pay for things, right? Like if you're not in the US, that 50K can go a little bit farther, right? If you're in Brazil or if you're like, in other countries and stuff. But in America, it won't do that much. But it's just hard. People get lazy. And I realized that. I remember Michael Jordan said, or Kobe said, when I got to the league, everybody was lazy. And it was. Because once you get to the UFC, people don't realize how much is handed to you overnight. Like literally, you can be pampered as long as you're on contract. You can hit up a lady who runs a social media. She'll tell you how to get your algorithm up. You get fed every single day. They send you supplements. Like you get free PT training. Like everything starts like it's just how accessible everything is, right? You get the blue check on Instagram and X, and then now the girls start to like you start hanging out with the more famous people. It's so much that you see in between where it changes people's lives, and I think they lose kind of like the sight of what they had, right? Because it was so hard to get here. And as soon as you sign one night, now you're hanging out with Mr. Beast, and you're like, dude, how the hell did I go from fucking Victorville, California? I'm just saying, like, I've never
Yeah,
met
yeah,
I never met Mr. Beast, but just saying, like, I came from Victorville, California, and I'm hanging out at a party with Mr. Beast, or for me, in a sense, I'm hanging out with the Oakland Raiders and blah blah blah, and they're talking to me about fighting, and I'm like, yo, this is Max Crosby. What the hell? Why are you
yeah.
talking to me
The
as a fight?
realness.
Like, and but to a lot of people, they get, oh yeah, like, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
no, man, like you still gotta fight.
So what do
Like,
you think the difference is there, Jamal? Do you think it's the why as to why they started in to begin with? Do you think it's some people start because they want the fame? Do you think it's some people start because they want the money? Do you think it's some people start because it's just their love? What do you think is the difference in that?
it's hard. This is one of the hardest jobs in the world. I'm not, and not to my military people, I'm just saying, but this is one of the hardest jobs I would say, like, to honestly have. And it takes a toll on you mentally before it does physically, right? I feel like when mentally it goes, that's when you start taking more damage, and then physically your body goes away. But mentally it takes so much for you. And I tell people, if I knew how much dedication it took when I was younger, I probably would have never done it. But it's so much pressure, and what I feel like is that a lot of fighters don't have outlets. So for me, I'm gonna tell you my personal outlet that I have outside of fighting, right? Because to be honest with you, a lot of fighters are weird. They're not normal, and they have high social anxiety. Like they're just awkward. But which is like understandable, right? But for me, to me, it was stock trading. So that's kind of was my
Your
outlet.
kumbaya.
Yeah, like it
Yeah. Yeah.
sounds crazy, right? Way opposite of being an athlete, right? But
Yeah.
to me, I found like, oh, when fighting gets so hard, usually when you have idle time, what do? You find things to fill the time. You start partying. You start doing those things. But I feel like that it's not there's no balance in fighting because it's like you got to go hard every day and it's a balance. To me, was learning about the stock market and trading and making money and doing that. And then it was like, oh, dude, if I win a couple more fights, I could put this over here and invest in this, and I can do this. And so to me, I think it's a lot of guys don't have an outlet, right? And then to me, what's the easiest outlet that you can have that's easily accessible to you? Alcohol, whatever your sexual preference is, right? And it goes into, and then like drugs, right? So those are the three easy, accessible things in the world. So, and it's people fall into it quickly, right? And because it kind of takes away the pain. Let's to be honest with you, it numbs the pain, and that's one of the reasons why I started drinking. Like it, but I found a different outlet this time, right? Trading stocks and stock market, meeting a bunch of millionaires and billionaires, and them teaching me how to do things, and then me doing Zoom classes and all that stuff. So I think it's just an outlet, right? We don't have an outlet. We're taught to fight, 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 shut up, fight, 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 shut up. Don't have emotions, and then you realize why a lot of these athletes they get to that point and they just. For me, how you go from being 8% body fat to going being fat as shit, and you're like, dude, all I've done in my whole life was told to shut up and fight. And then now it's like, how do you have that, that balance? And I'm not saying but that's why I take advantage of it. And it sounds crazy because I've been through that already before I got to the UFC. So that's kind of one of my advantages I have. But I see a lot of the guys going through the same thing I went through when I was younger. So I think my experiences was kind of helping me, in the fight game. Is I went through it at 21, 22, 33, 24, 25. And these guys are going through that 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and they're top 5, top 10, So, but it's the outlet, and it's life gets hard. And then people just need an outlet, and that's really what it is. But one thing I did love about the UFC, they have a sports psychologist. So you can definitely have that. So again, like I
That's
said,
my background right there.
yeah, yeah,
Exercise and sports psychology. That's my master.
yeah. And it took this guy named Micah to just like I was already dealing with it, but when he started talking, it was actually needed, right? But
Yeah.
again,
There's some good stuff in sports psychology. There
yeah,
really
it's,
is.
it's a lot of good things, and I appreciated it. So, and it helped me in my journey back to finding the love for it. But it sounds messed up because I'm taking advantage of people, like, disadvantages and stuff. But people get lazy in life and all that stuff. It's just hard, and then you get punched in the face, and then you're getting punched
That's
in
an
the
additive, right?
face.
So
Yeah, and then but it's just like everybody else. You choose your job, right? So I always tell people like I get to go get punched in the face and go fight in front of people, right? And that's what I choose to do, and I get paid, decently for it. And you can't get mad, right? Because you got to go to work the next day and do whatever you do, right? Even if you have a good or bad day, right? And it's the same thing. So it's kind of when you stop feeling sorry for yourself and understand we all have to go through it, it kind of changes it, right? Like, hey, look, I don't know about you, man, but I don't know where you can go into a fight and make 100,000
yeah,
and for 15 minutes, right?
you gotta be
Like
grateful for what you got, man.
unless you're trading,
Grateful.
yeah, like unless you're trading in the stock market, that's just not possible, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm sitting there and I'm just like, well, I get to do that. Like I get to do. I don't have to do what other people do, right? Like I
Yeah.
don't have to work as hard as everybody else. But again, what free time, what money gives you, money buys you time. But then guess what? You got to know how to occupy your time. And when a lot of fighters have never been able to occupy their time, you occupy what satisfy you the most. Me, I just found a different outlet. It was just reading and stock markets and taking my dogs out hiking, and it's just me trying to get myself to do more things outside of just fighting. So that's the hardest part about fighting, and it's pretty much it. It's hard.
So Jamal, let me ask you this. So where do you see yourself in the next couple years inside and outside the cage? What are some of your goals and aspirations right now? Because it
You
seems
know,
like they're growing and changing and ebbing and flowing. So
yeah, because I got to see so much more of life. Life is beautiful,
yeah,
man, and what I thought was big is small compared to the things I've seen. So, one of the things about just trading and making money, and right now I've been kind of having fun teaching people, right? Like, my family and everything, how to make money and train through the stock market. And to me, it was a little bit easier because I had fighting. Because like fighting was like they were like, oh, don't get scared of this. I'm like, oh yeah, you never fought. So like
yeah,
to me, I didn't have a lot of scare in the stock market, but right now, it would be that. And one of the biggest things I was talking to my guys, I want to build a facility back home in Victorville.
nice.
I want to build a nice learning facility. So that's one of my long-term goals. I hope to get it within like the next 10 years and build one, just a big learning facility. I want to just teach kids, whether it's like they're streaming, whether it's like they want to be computer science engineers. I want to run a tutoring services for kids, like from ages, from kindergarten to senior, like I want to have that counselors to help them do college admissions, even like help people get a GED, like adult classes. I want to build something back home for my people. And fighting is going to definitely give me the platform and the people, like you said, the people that's going to come and join and want to tag along. But that's one of my like long-term goals is I want to do that because all people need is opportunity. You know what I mean? So, and for me, God bless me with so much opportunity where I'm like, I'll be dumb like to not even try to give someone a chance, right? Because when I was growing up, all I needed was a chance. And still have an uphill battle right now, right? But I've accomplished so much in, being 29, but it's just like, man, let's make it a little bit easier for the next person, and that's kind of where I'm at, and it's just weird, man. Just life is just different now. I don't know. It's just weird when I tell people that and they're just like, dude, you're way different now. And I was like, man, it's just you can't. I don't have a bad day no more. I can't because
Yeah.
I know so much and I've learned so much and I've been through so much. It's like it's hard for me to have a bad day. So to me, it was just learning financial freedom and financial literacy. Also trying to help my family do the same thing and and teach them financial literacy as much as I'm learning from the people above me. I'm trying to pass it down to these guys and but it also brought the fun back into fighting because now it's like, hey, I don't have to fight for money.
Right.
I
Right.
fight because I can fight now because I love to fight. Like it's not, we don't have to like it's starting to get to a point like, hey man, we don't have to rely on the UFC check, man. We don't like we're doing it because, and I think that's bringing us so much pressure off of you And that's another thing is money. That brings a lot of pressure off people. And it changes you. Money changes a lot of things, whether people want to say it or not. It takes away the focus, right? It takes away the happiness that you could eventually have. So to me, it would be teaching people financial literacy, especially where the economy's been. And I just want to build a facility back home and just obviously um, real estate and things of that nature. But I think my mind's just changed, being 29 and you're hanging out with billionaires and millionaires and you have them on the phone and they look at you and they laugh like and then like they teach you how to trade in the stock market. You're just hanging out with these guys and these guys are good people and they're just like, yeah, we do this for people. We do this. Hey. And then they were like, whoa, I think they did something for one of my community centers back home. Like they sent them like 30 grand, was like, yeah, we'll just do it for you because we love, and it's just like knowing that, but now I'm like, I want to do that. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I don't want to have my rich friends do it. I
yeah.
want to be, I want to be the guy who do things like that. So
Well, don't they say, I mean, if you want to be a millionaire, hang out with millionaires. You want to be a fighter, hang out with fighters. You want to, you are the, what is it? You basically are the 5 people that you hang out with the most.
yeah,
Yeah, I think
and I
that's what
try
they
to do
say.
that. So now it's
Now,
like even family, I don't even hang out with fighters that much. I'm just like, hey, I gotta go.
it's funny you talking about the whole money changes things and all that kind of jazz. It kind of reminds me of like possibly, what are your thoughts on what's going on with Conor? I mean, Conor McGregor's got unbelievably amounts of money, right? I mean, it's through the
Mhm.
roof. But everybody's asking, when's he coming back? When's he coming back? When's he coming back? For one, do you think he'll ever come back? And two, do you think that that was, is basically the reason because he was so hungry to get there, he got there, and then now it's just,
Yeah, but you gotta take people at what they say at face value. Um, if you watch one of his old videos, he told you, I want my kids to never worry about money. I want my wife to drive a new car every day. I want my mom and dad and them. So it's like he has this dream. You like, and that's
yeah,
what people don't
yeah,
get. Like
he built that.
he accomplished every single thing that he wanted. Like we, and I get what people are like. We love you. We want you back, and we're fans, and we'll pay for you. But you got to let the man do what he did. He came in, he conquered, and he said he was going to do. Whether you like how he did it or not, that man stayed true to who he was and to what he said he was going to do. And for me, it's the same thing. I said I wanted to be a world champion. It didn't matter about the money. It didn't matter about I love to fight and I want to know if I can be a world champion, right? So to me, I want to know if Jamal Pogues, from where I'm from, and my skin color, can I be good enough to make it to the UFC? And I've done it, and I was like, now can I win that title?
Yeah,
Right? It's not about the money. And so to me, it's like if you know what you're fighting for, it's different. The man did what he said he was going to do. Rather he accomplished it with the belts or not, the man said he's done well for himself. So I met people in the fight game who said like, I'm not gonna lie to you. They were like, man, I can't wait to get all the girls. And they got him. And they were a local town hero. And they got all the baddest girls in the city. And then, like, you look at them now, they're like, man, I wish I would never done it. And to me, I just said, I want to know if one day I can hold the UFC championship belt. And it's like now, it's like I still have the same ambitions now. It's just like I understand where life and everything, like takes into factor, but I still want to be a world champ. I still hold those dreams like a little kid. So that's what I would say is know what you're fighting for and take it at face value what people say. Hey, his kids are gonna be good now. His
yeah,
wife can drive any car now.
kids, 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 kids.
Yeah, like, and
Yeah,
then it's like he gets it, and then we say, "Well, we want you to fight again," and it's like, "No, man, that wasn't the
yeah,
man's
that
dream.
wasn't part of the deal.
That wasn't, yeah, that wasn't his dream. That wasn't
Yeah,
his,
yeah,
that wasn't his
yeah.
side." But just take it what people say. But people fight for different reasons, and I just want to know if I can be a world champion, and I'm still fighting for that every single day, and I believe it, and the way I'm training, and I know I am. So it's just in that sense that's what makes me happy, right? I didn't get into fighting about for the money, right? I knew the money would be there. I know the fame would be there. I know the girls would show up. I know all the lights and the actors and all that would be there. That was never I didn't do this because of it. Like, like I want to know from what I thought was the coolest thing is when I watched boxing and I was watching UFC over the years, holding that gold belt was one of the coolest things in the freaking world. I want to do that. That's just that simple. And it's like that's what we should probably look at. But this man accomplished everything. I'm proud of him.
So you're living your dream right now, literally.
You know what is I'm gonna be honest with you, it's very ugly right now, but yes.
But
And that's
yes,
what but yes, and that's what's making me love it because now I'm letting myself be vulnerable and deal with all the emotions that I didn't deal with from before. So meaning like just the politics, the climb back, the just so much you got to go through. It's a little bit easier now because I have a name now. I got the background, the UFC backing me, and the people. But it's still, it's just, it's an everyday fight, man. And that's, but I'm living my dream, as hectic and chaotic as it is. I smile every day because I'm like, I would rather have these problems.
absolutely. Well, they
That's
say
what,
to reach the highest of highs, just like a roller coaster, you have to hit the lowest of lows to get to
yeah.
the highest of highs.
And
So
I'm on my way back up. And that's what I love right now. And that's what I love that my family and my team get to enjoy right now. And as I'm telling you, and I'm telling you now, and you're gonna be like, this dude just say he's on his way back up, you know. And I felt like at my worst, these guys in the best guys in the fight game couldn't even touch me, and I was at my worst. So it's like, oh man, when life's getting better and life is looking up again, and the sun is shining on me again, it's like I feel like I can beat anybody in the world, man, and I know I can beat anybody in the world because I've faced bigger challenges way before the UFC and all that. So it's possible, but yes, I'm living my dream.
hell yeah.
I'm living my dream, man. I'm excited. That I don't know. I wake up every day
Oh,
saying,
that gave me goosebumps, man. Because that's
yeah,
it's kind of the same thing in the industry me and James are at, dude. I mean, it's ups and downs in the entertainment business, man.
yeah.
Sometimes you're like, oh, I'm there, I'm there, I'm there, and then boom, and then then you get the call and you are there. But it's being able to keep that energy that you have now without having to wait for that phone call. Because if that phone call is the only thing that derives that type of energy from you, then you're going to
Mhm.
be let down your entire
Whole
life.
time. Hell yeah.
You've got to be able to keep that energy moving and be able to, kind of go and navigate through your emotions and stay in a positive keel no matter what. Because
Hmm.
otherwise, you can't let that phone call dictate your life. You can't,
It's hard. It's hard. You know, I can't wait for it, you know, but at the end of the
right?
day, I love to train, right? So that's why I'm always in the gym. I just love being in the gym and
Yeah.
obviously what I do outside the gym and in regards to making money and stuff like that it's two separate entities. So that's what I love. I can do this and I can go do this and it's separate so I can separate them and but you gotta just have fun and enjoy your life and that's what I'm trying to do. For this, like I said, just have is just enjoy it. Like we have the fight offered in December. Everybody else around me is asking, "Oh man, did they call you? Did they do this? Did this?" I'm like,
So let me ask you this: if you can say, will it be with the UFC?
"Will not be with the UFC.
Okay.
We I can't say it yet, right?
Okay.
Won't be
Okay.
the UFC, but like I say, if we put another finish together, man, we'll be
It's
back.
coming.
We'll be back next year. We'll be back next year. And
Oh
like I
yeah.
said, but it's only been what now? I got released in February. We're coming up on a year, but we'll be able to put in two fights, two finishes, and let's just say I'll be back in the UFC within what 18 months.
You'll be
But
there.
yeah, we'll be back. So to me, it's just staying positive and just not worrying about if a guy signs a fight, he pulls out, if who he's this. It's just right now. I just try to focus on the good day. Like just live, try to make the most out of my day, train as hard as I can every day, and then whatever just lands in my face, I just change my energy and go towards that. So I just don't focus on the call. That's the biggest thing. I don't focus on
Yeah.
the thing. If I have to fight, if I don't, if it happens, it's gonna be a good fight. But then at the same time, it's like, hey man, if it does, it does. If it's not, I'm gonna probably turn on YouTube and watch some news about the stock stick. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
like I don't like. It's just like it's all right, but that's just what it is right now.
Well, I'll tell you, man. I mean, from knowing you for the past decade, I see you got a lot of balance in your life right now. You got a lot of
Yeah.
growth in your life right now. Your mindset is very, very strong. And, realizing that you have much more in this world to offer than just fighting somebody across the kit. Not that it's not important because it is. It's
No.
hugely important to you.
Mhm.
But realizing that, you know what, that's just a part of my life. That's not everything in my life is going to make it so much easier for you to transition outside of the cage when this job here is done as well, because you're going to realize that you're not just a fighter, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I realized that the
You know,
years I was out, I realized that it was weird. It was weird to come back because it wasn't the same. I had to
yeah.
find a new why. It wasn't the same. I couldn't give my all to it, but then I was like, not like I couldn't give my all. It was more like, dude, this can't consume you 100% because the last time they did this, we crashed and we fucked up big time. So this time it was like, how do we find a balance to where we can still love what you love to do, and then you know what I mean, and
Well,
again.
it's true. I mean, because at the end of the time, a lot of the times what happens, and especially, we studied this a lot in my degree, my master's degree. Athletes, especially professional athletes, when they are done doing what they have been doing for the past since they were a kid, they get done and they have no idea how to navigate through the world. They haven't been good with money because they had somebody else managing it, right? They okay, they don't know where to put their identity, and the majority of them latch on to the game that they were in and they never let go, whether it's, now they're just working with one athlete or a towel boy, whatever it is, whatever makes them feel close to the game. And even though that's good on some aspects, you want to keep that in your life, it's also good to realize that's only a chapter in your life. It's not your book, right? And I think you're
Yeah.
starting to understand that, which, it shows me just how much you've grown in the past decade, which is awesome to see. And I'm excited to see where you go, man. So before we take off, what's next, brother? I know you got this fight coming in
Look,
December,
listen,
but
we
but
have
what's the long game coming? What is it?
listen, man, we have a title fight December.
Okay.
Uh, I'm excited for personal reasons, right? I haven't fought for a pro title. I haven't, I never won a pro title. I won a lot of amateur titles.
Well, you're about to fucking win a pro title from what I
So I'm excited about that. Like that
yeah.
is just stuff. And then when I think about the journey here, we have that. Man, it's just listen, I don't know, man, it's so much blessings around me right now. And one of the biggest, I'm just proud of myself, right? And I'm proud of myself for going through that storm. I'm proud of myself for
The
still fight,
Stormtrooper, baby. The
right?
Stormtrooper.
Like just going through that storm and just still, and then refinding the love for the sport again, right? But then I found so many other avenues that can keep me from burning out in that sense. But honestly, right now it's a title fight, and it's to get back to the UFC, man, and it's time to finish the dream. That's really what it is. Is I'm tired now. I'm not like tired, just no, I'm tired now. I'm just
You're tired of being tired, bro.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
I want to finish this dream now, and
Good.
because it's not that I'm trying to hurry up and close it or anything like that. No, it's not that. It's like I'm ready now to finally just do it. Like I'm tired of being in my own way. I'm tired of, whatever. It's just like, hey, look, finances won't be a worry no more. Hey, look, man, we don't have to worry about this no more. And now let's just give yourself everything possible. Like you got to do everything right. So right now it's just time to finish the dream. I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I want everybody, man. I'm when I say this, I want to fight everybody. I don't care who you are. It's what I did when I was in the UFC. I didn't care if you was the Olympic wrestler, and I didn't care if you were this top striker. I would literally want to fight everybody, and I want to rip everybody's heads off at the same time. So that's my end goal, and I'm ready to be champ, man. I drive by T-Mobile Arena, a couple times a week, and I just like, man, I can't wait till this whole city, like my name's there, and this whole city stops for me. So it's just like that's where my mind's at. That's where my focus, and honestly, just keeping good energy and good people around me, and just saving a little bit for myself. And I think that's what's different. I gave the world the best, all of me. You know what I mean? And now I give them a piece of me, and now I'm just loving what's coming around me. But you know what? We'll be back in the UFC next year. I'll tell you that. And from there we just finished the dream, man.
Good.
I'll
Yeah.
be 30. I'll be 30 and I'll just, is and what you say everybody says is prime, right? I already got so
Yeah.
much experience, man. I have 27 fights and so much jiu-jitsu experience. So I want to finish the dream, man. And I want to finish the dream, make myself proud, and then just help the next person get there or whatever. It don't have to be fighting. I don't know. It can be whatever. Like just to be that good person, like to be that person to help. Because man, I didn't have no help. Like meaning like it just wasn't a lot of help around us, and even Joe Daddy can only do so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just want to be that guy that's gonna be able to help people out, live their dream, and rather it's a listening ear of his finances. I just want to help the world. That's like kind of like my give all thing in the end is like, how do I make more money to like go help people? Like that's really how it's gonna be, because I just want to help people out, man. That's it. That's
Well,
pretty
I'm
much.
proud of you, man. I'm
Thank
proud of
you,
you,
man.
and I love you, brother. You've been
Thank
kicking
you, man.
ass.
Love you too, man.
Good to see your face, man.
Oh, man.
I
Man,
used to
you
see you
too,
all the
man.
time. Now you're
Listen,
out. Now you're out in that hot state, man.
I love it out here.
Yeah, I know, man.
I'm ducked
That's
off in the
good.
corner, so I love it. I love where I'm at. I'm
Well,
ducked off.
hey, thank you so much for coming on the show,
Thank you, guys.
and you know, we're looking forward to having you again after you win that title, man.
Oh man, I can't wait. December.
Next time you'll have the belt here.
Yeah.
Oh man, we'll have to go. I can't wait, man. I'm glad I get to share this with you guys, man. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be a Cinderella story. That's what I should say.
Finish
Cinderella
the
man.
dream, baby. Finish
Cinderella
the
man.
dream.
Cinderella man right here, man.
Hey, you heard it from the Stormtrooper. Well, hey, man, thank you so much for coming on
Thank
the
you.
show, brother. And let's stay in touch, and we'll chat soon again, my man.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys again, man.
Thank you,
Okay.
brother. Nice
See
to
you,
meet
buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you.